We're here for the Coaching Linebackers for Peak Performance web clinic tonight. My name is Joe Daniel from footballdefense.com. I'll let everybody trickle in here. We'll get started in just a second. All right, guys, we're going to get started here. First thing I want to know, guys, thanks for being here tonight. Important to start out, I always want to know, can you hear me? If you can hear me all right, just go ahead and put a yes in the chat box while I'm getting everything set up to record. If you'll pop a yes in the chat box. If you have a blank screen, refresh your browser. Just hit refresh and it'll come up. All right, excellent. So everybody's able to hear us now. Guys, I'm going to cut the chat box off. I know you guys want to talk. That's fine. However, it's just something that tends to work better. So just so you know what happens here. You will be able to message me anytime during the clinic. If you have questions that come up as we're going through this, please send me a message and let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're having any trouble, if at any time something seems like it freezes, just try to refresh the screen. Sometimes, this is done over a Google Hangouts. So if you start to have problems with your iPad, it's because Google and Apple are fighting, and it'll eventually clear up. I can't do anything about it. I didn't design the software, but I'll do the best I can. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. I'm going to tell you about myself. I'm going to tell you about coaching linebackers. And I'm going to talk to you as much as I can about it here. So let's go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover. First of all, you are in the right place here tonight if you are an American football coach. Okay, this isn't soccer. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on why we're here. This isn't soccer. It's football, American football. As long as you're an American football coach or you aspire to be one someday, if that's a path that you want to head down, then you are in the right place. If you are a fan of football and you just came here to learn, that's great. You just want to learn. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I have guys that do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want you to know that this is not about being a football fan, and I'm not a good football fan. If you ask me my opinion on the linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys, A, I don't know who they are. B, I don't give a crap. I'm a football coach. Football coaches don't get to watch that much football. We're busy. I watch football from the end of November into January when we start back in the weight room. That's about it. I watch the playoffs. This is not something where I care much about your favorite college team or your favorite NFL team. I care about the team that you coach and the kids that you coach and the kids that I coach. And generally those are either youth, middle school, high school, college, semi-pro, so not always kids. And all the way on up, have people from all kinds of levels that are here, international, from the United States, Canada, Mexico, Japan, Australia. It's in the middle of the night in a lot of those places, but Europe, we get people from all over the world. They're involved. We've got people from Ireland, England, Poland, lots of people from Poland, Italy, all over the place, Portugal. So you are here. If you're a football coach, you fit that description. Welcome, glad to have you here. If you're looking to improve your Madden game, I can't help you. You are in the right place if you know what you know, and you know that you don't know it all. This by nature is an egoic profession. To be a football coach, and I say profession, I'm one of the few people who actually makes a living doing this. High school coaches, youth coaches. I hear youth coaches a lot of time, and and not just youth coaches. I hear high school coaches who think college coaches make a lot of money. I hear youth coaches who think high school coaches are making money or get, backed by the school and all this stuff. Now, guys, most of us aren't making any money doing this, no matter what level. So we are all in the same boat. Okay, I work with every single level of coach, and I can tell you from top to bottom, 99% of us are not making jack doing this. We're not making much money. Okay, we're not making much money. We enjoy doing this, and it's an egoic profession, though. We have to be confident in ourselves, but I'm amazed by the arrogance of some guys who've been coaching for 4 years and think they've got it all figured out. If you think that one defense of scheme will solve all the problems, if you think that you've solved everything in football, if you think that you can't win running a wing tee or a zone read or a double wing, if you think that you can't win running a 5-3 or a 4-2-5, you can't stop the spread in a 3-5 or whatever, you're wrong. I'll just tell you that right now, because somebody's done it and somebody's doing it now. I know that I don't know it all. I've been doing this. Not only have I've been coaching for 12 years, which is not that long compared to a lot of people. I know there's a ton of stuff that I don't know. I'm fortunate to get to do this 24 hours a day and not have to do really anything else with my life other than study football. There is a ton that I don't know, and I'm glad for it. If you are here for real-world coaching ideas, real-world coaching, then you're in the right place. Okay? I'm about things that you can actually take and apply to your kids. I'm not about fancy theory. I don't want to have the thickest book. I don't want to have the most complicated ideas. I'll leave that up to some other people, and I love them, and I love the stuff that they do. I think Andrew Coverdale is a genius. I think he is a mad scientist, and he is so much smarter than I will ever be, and he is able to teach all this stuff that he talks about in his clinics to his kids. Well, let me tell you that is not the style of, at least defensively, and it's not offensively either. That is not the style that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, this isn't stuff that's going to blow your mind because it's revolutionary. I don't need revolutionary. Okay, we're not about revolutionary. We want things that you can take and you can apply to your kids if they're 6 or 16 or 26 or whatever age they are. These are things that your linebackers can do. Okay, that's what I'm about. I'm about simple. I'm about things that your kids can do. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about me. Before I do that, let me jump in and just give a quick poll because we've got guys from a lot of places here. And what I want to know is how you got here. So just take a quick second. If you came in through Facebook, through a post on Facebook and signed up that way, or through a tweet, or through getting an email from me, or some other way, maybe somebody forwarded the email to you or anything like that, if you can just quick click how you got here, tell me about it. We go through Facebook. We have a page on Facebook. You can just search for football defense. We'll come up, or I'll come up. I say we. I am footballdefense.com. I don't have any. There's nobody else writing for me. There's nobody else really. I have some help on the back end of things, but they don't know anything about football. They live in the Philippines. Came through Twitter. My Twitter is @footballinfo. I'll put that up later. But if you want to find me on there, you can find me. You can search for my name. I'll come up, I'm sure. Or my email. A lot of you are on my email list, and you've gotten emails that way, and you have been for a long time. So I'll go ahead and close that out. All right, looks like most from email, about 20% from Facebook. Okay, good. All right, most of you guys came through the email, which means you have some idea of who I am. But we'll get everybody else caught up with everybody else. So you may not know me, you may not know anything about me. Again, and a lot of people don't know this when they come to footballdefense.com, and maybe I actually bought JoeDanielFootball.com. I haven't done anything with it yet. But I'm thinking that maybe I'm just going to go totally egomaniac and rebrand this thing like I invented football. But not yet. I am a football coach. That is what I do. People ask me if I still coach or if I'm coaching a team now or if I do. Yes, I am a football coach. I will always be a football coach. I do not know how to function and survive without coaching football. At one point a few years ago, I thought I was going to be out of coaching football. It was looking like I may be. I was in a near panic. I started out as a teacher. I played for Randolph-Macon College. here in not Central Virginia, Ashland, Virginia, which is the center of the universe, for those of you not familiar, just north of Richmond. Graduated from Randolph-Macon College, got a teaching job. I was a history teacher for 7 years. I started in Smithfield High School. My first year, I didn't even coach defense. I coached the offensive line on the JV. It was not a very good year for me. I went to Prince George High School, where I'm currently at now, the next year. So I spent 1 year at Smithfield down in 757, came back up here. It is down by Petersburg, about 45 minutes south of Richmond. That's where I live. I was there for 6 years. I coached JV, coached defensive coordinator on the JV, coached defensive line for a couple of years. I've been coaching offensive line. I've coached quarterbacks. I've coached every position. We coach both ways. We're a fairly large school, but our kids go both ways. I coach both ways. And have for most of my career. I was a defensive coordinator, probably too soon. In 2009, I decided to chase my dream to go get a college coaching job. That's not easy to do. I ended up at Ellsworth College, community college out in Iowa for a year. I made $2,500 for the year. It's pretty sweet. I got a dorm room right next to some of our players. I got a meal plan that was questionable at best. But I learned a lot of football. Learned 4-2-5 defense out there from Coach Ricky Kuhn, who was our defensive coordinator. Got pretty good at it. So I learned a lot of football from it. Came back after that year. Couldn't get a history job, so I got certified to teach math. I taught math for 2 years. In 2012, I left teaching because I had started this website, and it was doing pretty well. And I figured I could make more money spending 40 hours a week or 80 or whatever I spend on this than I could teaching. But I knew I was going to be able to keep coaching when I did it. I'm not leaving football coaching. So I'm a football coach who runs a website about coaching football. I actually run 3 of them. I run footballdefense.com, I run footballoffense.com, and I host the Football Coaching Podcast, which is footballcoachingpodcast.com. And you can search on iTunes for Football Coaching Podcast, and that'll come up. We're on episode 98. We would be on 99, but I was sick last week. We'll have 99 out probably tomorrow. So we're almost at 100 episodes on the Football Coaching Podcast. But you can go through the site and find them. So I run 3 sites right now. Like I said, I do own Joe Daniel Football now. I also own JoeDaniel.com, which was surprisingly not cheap. So we're going to, and then the last thing about me is I'm a football coach who runs a website. The website and me, especially in the last year or two, is focused on simple, effective coaching. I'll keep harping on this. It's not about showing off how much you know. It's not about going out and drawing up beautiful plays and napkins and all this sort of stuff and getting all these crazy drills and making all this stuff. No. What can I do to get my kids doing what they need to do so that we can win football games? I'm not trying to impress anybody, and I'm not going to lie to you. One of the things about blogging your football career for the last 5 years is you have a lot of stuff that you'd like to take back. I don't take any of it back. I leave it all out there. But I've tried way too many times to get too cute and complicated, try to keep up with some of the gurus, and it's not for me. Our focus is on simple. It's on being effective. It doesn't matter how cool it looks if you can't teach it to your players. So it doesn't matter how fancy your schemes are if you're not able to go and teach those schemes to your football players. So that's what you've got to be able to do. You got to be able to show them how to do it. You got to be able to get them going in the right direction. When your players understand what you're trying to accomplish, they will have more confidence. When your players understand what it is that you're asking them to do and what their job is, what their role is, this goes for everybody, not just linebackers, they will play with more confidence. And it doesn't take a long coaching career to understand that confident kids play fast. Okay, paralysis by analysis. Kids sit there and go, well, if this, then if your kids are thinking if then, they're not going anywhere while they're thinking about it. Confident kids play fast. They have certain things they need to know. They see it. They react. They react fast. Paralysis by analysis works the same way the other way. If they know it, they're going. They're flying. Fast kids win football games. That's a fact. Fast teams that are well coached will win football games. Now, it doesn't have to be the biggest team. In fact, it's rarely the biggest team. Speed will beat size any day. Speed will beat size any day. and to an extent, you have the speed of the kids that you have. Now, I'll tell you that we went out and hired Dale Basquette last year, and our kids got faster. So you can teach some speed, but that took us hiring the best, as far as I'm concerned, the best speed coach in the country, if not the longest tenured one. For me, the best. He just knows how to. He knows how to teach kids, and if you're considering every bit of worth it to get involved with him, especially you guys out in California. But fast kids win football games. They just do. You can't always make them faster, especially this close to the season. But I tell you what you can do. You can make them confident, make them play faster. So again, be simple. This is what we're about. Be simple. Kids will be confident. They'll be fast. That wins football games. That's going forward from here. That's our philosophy. That's what we care about. Be simple. Confident kids. They move fast. They'll win more games. They'll win more games. Now, what I want to know from you guys, you know what I'm bringing today. Why are you here? Just down in the chat box there. Tell me why you're here. Give me one thing that you want to learn, that you want to get an idea for, that you just want to kick something around. Tell me one thing that you're interested in finding out today. If you guys just put those down in the chat box here, tell me something that you're looking to find out, because I want to make sure, that you guys get what you want to get out of this too. I don't just want to sit here and talk for a few hours. I want to make sure that you guys are getting what you're after. The speed coach's name is Dale Basquette. All right, got a couple things coming in now. Linebacker reads, run fits in the 4-2-5. We're not 4-2-5 focused here, guys. We're just going to talk about linebackers, but we do have web clinics in our memberships on all that. But we'll talk linebacker basics here today. This is more of an everything. Defending spread pass for 3-5-3. Be a better coach. Practice drills for linebackers. That's what we got. Drills, good. All right. Defeating blocks, absolutely, extremely important. New drills. Okay. Drills to become better tacklers without a lot of hitting. That's good. We're going to talk about that. Okay. I was reading through. Okay, recognize run versus pass. That's good stuff. All right, I see a lot of stuff, guys. A lot of stuff we're going to hit on here. Beating a block, reads. We're going to hit on all that stuff here. Run fits, absolutely. Good. So we're in the right picture here. You guys are in the right place for this stuff. I want to see a couple more, but I think we're going to hit on most of these. There'll be a question and answer at the end that you guys will be able to ask about. So he asked what I coach. We are currently a 4-2-5 defense, but I've coached 4-3, 3-3-5, and 3-4. I've coached in everything. All right, great. Okay. Well, we won't be talking much scheme. We're going to be talking primarily the drills that we use with our linebackers, how to run drills, how to set up drills, how to work drills, how to prepare your practice for your linebackers. The first thing with your linebackers, and this goes with anybody, okay, a lot of this stuff is universal. So if you're sitting here and you just didn't have anything to do tonight, but you coach the DBs or you coach the receivers or you coach the defensive line, it doesn't matter. Most of this stuff is universal. So it's football. Okay, we get too complicated with this stuff. It's football. Okay. Football, just like in the weight room, just like anything else, sprint anything that you do, you have to start right to finish right. Okay, so we tell our kids in the weight room, we focus on cleans, front squats, bench press, and military press. And really, I can give a crap about the other. I care about cleans and front squats. And you have to start right to finish right on those things. And we tell our kids, if you don't start right, it's not gonna go right. The bar's gonna go the wrong way. All this sort of stuff. When we go out on the field day one, what's the first thing that you teach? It doesn't matter if your kids are 6 or 18 or 22. You start working with stance. We get that stance right. Okay, that stance has to be good. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't think you have to be some statuesque stance, but we have to have a few things that are correct. Okay, I don't have any high-tech pictures. There's no HD video or anything like that, guys. I'm a football coach. When I'm at practice, I have a limited amount of time with my kids. I'm not pulling them aside to film stuff for my website. If I happen to film something and I've got it, I'll use it. If I happen to get a little bit of time, they get done in the weight room early, I might go film something, but it's pretty rare. So to get some pictures to look at, I just went back through our practice film on Huddle, clipped some stuff. The kid on the left is blitzing, which is why his feet are a little narrow. He was a senior last season, so I'll tell you that his feet are a little more narrow than I wanted to be, but he's been doing it for a while, and his hands aren't where I wanted to be, but I knew about his hands. I knew that they were they're just hanging there. So I'll talk about all this stuff, but I'm not wild about his stance. I don't know why I keep flipping forward. I'm not wild about his stance, but I pulled it for the kid on the right, who's a backup. But here's the things that I want you to see. Okay, bend in the hips. I want to see a little more bend in the knees, but not a ton. Some of these guys get down to like a parallel squat. It's not a practical position. What I tell them is, from this position, because look, a linebacker, probably 90% of plays is going to end up running somewhere. Okay, he's not just going to be sitting here shuffling. Even if he shuffles a little bit, eventually he's got to get downhill and fill the hole. He's got to sprint to fill the hole. And he doesn't sprint from this squat-bodied position. Okay, that's just not an effective way to move. He's got to lower his level when he gets to contact position. I want the stance to be a stance that he can play comfortably throughout the play in. So I want to see a bend in his ankles, flexion in his knees, probably a little bit more than this, but not a whole lot. Flexion in his hips. I want to see big chest. Okay, feet shoulder width apart or slightly wider, feet under the armpits. I don't care about hand position. They can be dangling out in front. You can see on 88 that his hands are kind of in his lap. I knew that he wasn't resting on them. I won't let them rest on them. They can't put them on their thigh boards like they're posing for a picture. That's just what he did with his hands. He wasn't resting on it. Looks from behind like he's resting on them. They're just kind of sitting there. It's like he just wants to make sure that his junk doesn't fly away before the snap. And then after that, his hands are fine. So their hand position, because initially, most of the time they're going to be in a shuffle. Now, here's something that we do different. Our feet are staggered, okay? Our feet are staggered. So his feet, they both use a right foot stagger. I tell them I don't care. Most of them will right foot stagger because they're right-footed. It'll be about a heel toe. It's different depending on the height of the kid, about a heel toe or heel to instep, but it's just a slight stagger in their stance. Here's why we do that, okay? First of all, everybody teaches their kids to start out balanced and then take a read step, okay? We're doing the same thing. We're taking a shorter read step from this stagger position. We've got about 60% of our weight on the balls of our feet. Okay, we've got about 60% of our weight forward. We're leaned just slightly to where I could slide a piece of paper between his heels and the grass. I should still have blades of grass. If we had blades of grass, this is about October, there's no blades of grass left on our practice field. If we had blades of grass, they would be touching the bottom of his cleats. When we start here next week, there'll be blades of grass touching the bottom of his feet. Now, he'll be a safety when we start next week, but there'll be blades of grass touching his feet, and you'll be able to slide a piece of paper under there. So he's not way up on his toes. He's leaned slightly forward. He will take a slight read step so that his second step, his heel replaces his toe. That's his second step. Okay, it's just a slight step. If you saw it, it's very, very slight, and it's always with that right foot. All I want to do is make sure that they don't false step. We had a horrible time with one foot false stepping and going forward. Since we've started using the stagger, it is very hard them to false step. Try it out. You don't have to do it, but I'm just telling you what we do. We use that stagger. Try it out. It has helped us greatly to eliminate false steps. Weight just slightly forward, eyes up, chest up, butt down. I want to see that butt down a little bit more on these guys. Hands hanging out in front. I didn't stress butt down last year much, and it didn't hurt us. These guys will drop their level. In fact, I have a harder time getting them up because our linebackers are not very big. This kid's a $145, $150 at the time. He's bigger now. 88 is about 200. The kid that started for us, 88, and the other starter for us were 5'8", 190 to 200, and they were pretty good. The other one was actually, the other one was in a local all-star game, and he looked tiny compared to everybody else, but he's good. Instincts go a long way, but that's our stance. You got to start right to finish right. So again, we want those feet. We'll get them standing. I'll get their feet slightly shoulder width apart. I'll tell them to pick one foot and stagger it forward a little bit. Then I'll tell them to squat down like they're about to start a hang clean. Okay, and you can see, a hang clean, the bar is at the top of their knees, so he needs to be just slightly lower. Okay, bend his knees just a little bit more. This is basically their hang clean position. Roll forward slightly, chest big, eyes forward. That's our stance. I want to see his chest up a little bit more bend in his knees. But like I say, he was blitzing here. Your linebackers have an extremely difficult job because they are the central focus of your defense. Okay, when the ball is snapped, everybody in the stands is looking at them because they're in the middle. The only ones who aren't looking at them are nobody's looking at the defensive linemen other than their parents and their girlfriends and their defensive linemen. And I was a defensive lineman. I can say this. Okay, they don't all have girlfriends. They do pretty well for themselves, considering being the nasty people that they are, nasty individuals that they are. But people aren't watching them. People don't watch the corners, especially in youth and high school. Okay, they watch the linebackers. It's the center of the defense. And what they need to understand is that between snaps, guess who's being watched? Guess who's watching them? The defensive linemen, the safeties, the corners. They set the tone for the entire defense, and I instill this in our linebacker. You are the leader of this defense. If you are not willing to step up and take leadership on this defense, you're going to make a pretty good defensive end or a nose guard. You're not going to play linebacker. You're just not. The role demands it. The role doesn't demand that you be loud. It demands that you carry yourself with confidence, like we talked about before. It demands that you have a little swagger. Okay? It demands that you are willing to be the center of attention. If your middle linebackers in particular are not the leading tacklers, whether you're 3-5-3, 3-4, 4-2-5, or a 4-3, and those are all the defenses that there are. You can just call them by different names. So those of y'all that haven't been here before, a 4-2-5 is a 4-4 is a 6-2. They're the same. A 3-5-3 is a 3-3-5 is a 5-3. They're the same. A 3-4 is a 5-2. They're the same. Okay, that's all that there is. You can do reductions and stuff and create different stuff, but I've already ranted on that in podcast episode 80. If they are not your leading tacklers, then you probably have bigger problems on your defense or you just have a defensive lineman who's killing everybody. But these guys, 99% of the time, should be your leading tacklers, the center of attention, the run stoppers in a run-driven game. The only place where it's not run-driven is the NFL, and still in the NFL, if you can't run the ball, you don't win championships. You don't win championships. You got to be able to run the ball somewhat. You got to be able to balance out. If we can take away the run, I can beat you at any level. In your defense, so we talk a lot, and I'll back up 1 second. We talk a lot with these kids, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about when we talk to them. But there's a lot involved in pumping these kids up. They need to know they're different from everybody else. Now, if you're the position coach for the corners, you're talking to them about their attitude and their swagger and how they're on an island out there. If you're in D-line, you're talking about them, how they're in a train wreck every play, how they're in the trenches. Okay, if you're coaching linebackers, you're talking to them about everybody has. But as their position coach, you should be pumping these guys up. That's not to say that you're downplaying everyone else. Everybody's position coach should be pumping their guys up about how special their position is. But it's easy to do with linebackers because everybody's looking at them. It's not, corners don't get 20 tackles a game. Linebackers do sometimes. Now, when we go to talk about our linebackers and their drills and their practice work, once we've taught the stance, okay, in your defense, what you need to do, no matter what defense you're running, you need to take a look at how many skills each player on your defense needs to be able to execute. Needs. What are the most important skills for them to execute? No player on your defense should have more than 5 skills that they need to be great at. Okay? There may be a few other things that they need to be able to do, but nobody on your defense should have more than 5 skills that they need to be great at. Okay? In other words, I've got my 5 skills, and I'm going to list them here. One of them is not catching the football for linebackers. So if I've got a kid who's better at the 5 skills, and I've got another kid who's almost as good at the 5 skills but not as good, but he catches really well, it doesn't matter. It's the kid who's the best at those 5 skills. It's the kid who can do those things that makes him a great linebacker. When you figure out those 5 skills, it doesn't have to be 5. If you can get it down to 3 or 4, that's even better. And with younger kids, you know, a lot of times with younger kids, you're not concerned. You get really young, 6, 7, 8 years old, you're not that concerned about the pass. I can whittle down what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to stop the run. You know, I can whittle down what you need to be able to do. And younger kids, I want them to have 3 or 4 skills. Okay. Our entire practice, you have to identify those skills or you can't design an effective practice. So you're going to have to sit down with your playbook. Hopefully you've got one that makes sense. And you're going to have to be honest and say, look, here are the things, no more than 5, that my kids have to be able to execute. And we work tackling every day with our players. We have a tackling circuit, which I will show you what we do in that tackling circuit. And our defensive practices, our practice schedule is Monday is all defense. Tuesday is all offense. We get about 10 to 15 minutes of defense on the offense day. So we'll still get some indie. We'll do our turnover circuit that day, takeaway circuit that day. And then Wednesday is a split practice. It's just like a regular practice that you're probably used to. We will work tackling in every single one of those practices. It will fit into everything that we do, but we rarely go to the ground. There are 4 more everyday drills that our linebackers must do, and I'm going to show you those drills as we go through here tonight. The 5 skills that my linebackers need to be great at might be different from yours. They may look a little different. They may not be the things that you need to do. Again, you need to evaluate your own playbook, but they're probably not too different. They're probably not wildly different. They probably are pretty close to what you need to be able to do. And based on what you guys said that you want to be able to do here, you know, you guys talked about the 4 things that I saw repeated were tackling, defeating blocks, fitting the run, and coverage. Okay, so those are 4 of them. Tackling is one of the 5 skills. Defeating blocks, things that you guys talked about too. How we fit the run. Playing man coverage. We're a man coverage team. For you, it may be zone coverage. We do play zone coverage, but they don't have to be great at zone coverage. They have to be great at man coverage. We play a lot more man. And blitzing. We blitz roughly 65% of the time last season. That's high. I don't think we'll blitz that much this year. What we'll probably back off on some of our blitzing, but blitzing is the 5th skill that we need to be good at. We need to have both a run and a pass blitz. So every day, we must work with our linebackers. This is Monday. Again, Tuesday, Monday we get a lot of it. We get a longer individual period because we do all defense day. Okay, so Tuesday we won't get to work everything. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even in our pregame, we're going to work all 5 of these. Tackling, block destruct. Okay, I don't want to just defeat it. I want to run around the block. I want to destroy the block, take the space. How we fit the run. Inside fit, what's our leverage? Our man coverage scheme, we're base cover 1 team. And then blitz skills. Every day we must work those 5 things. Joe brought up you're only allowed 2 days for tackling. I'm going to talk to you about that. We're not tackling to the ground. We are also limited by how much we can tackle. We are not tackling to the ground. Okay, we prioritize these skills. Because like it happens all the time, if something happens and your practice schedule gets tweaked, there's a thunderstorm, whatever happens, if we got to cut something out, we're going to cut blitz first. We're going to cut blitz skill work first, then we'll cut coverage skill work second. We're going to work tackling every day, early on. And when I say tackling, I'll tell you about it. Okay, tackling is prioritized because of safety as our number one. Okay, because of safety in tackling, because of the danger of tackling incorrectly, and the fact that I will not put a kid on the field who's going to duck his head. I will not put him on the field if he's going to put himself in danger. So we must teach proper tackling, or those kids won't play. And if that's not your rule, if you're leaving a kid out there who's ducking his head just because he's crazy and he's a good football player, you shouldn't be coaching football. Because you're going to put a kid in the hospital, and it's going to be on you. If a kid will not keep his eyes up consistently, you got to get him off the field until he learns it. You can't tell him to go out there and it's not like touching a stove. He's gonna have a broken neck. We work tackling circuits. Okay, so our first skill is tackling. We use tackling circuits to work multiple techniques in a short period of time. We do not go to the ground very often. Okay, our kids will get, on Monday, our ones will get about 17 snaps of live tackling. Our number one defense will get 17 snaps on Monday of live to-the-ground tackling. They will get 13 snaps on Wednesday. They will get 0 on Tuesday. They will get 0 on Thursday. We're in helmets. They will get 0 on Friday. Later in the season, we'll be in just tops. We'll be in shells on shoulder pads and helmets on Wednesday too. Friday they'll get plenty of tackling, obviously. Hopefully. Okay, keep your kids healthy and keep them safe. Look, don't drop the Neanderthal stuff. It's not about who hits the hardest. It's not about going out there and cracking skulls. Okay, that may sound fun. It may be great. You're going to make kids hate football. The only kids who love contact and lust after it are the crazy ones. Okay, we all love crazy kids, but it's best for society if we have very few of them. What you need to do is get the other 10 kids on your defense to tackle, and get the other 20 kids behind them that are just learning football or aren't very good yet to learn to tackle safely, to learn to tackle effectively. Ugly tackles are wonderful because they're tackles. Gang tackles are wonderful. Whatever tackling technique you decide to teach, okay, is kind of beyond, it's a whole web clinic in and of itself is tackling technique, but however you decide to teach your tackling technique, it needs to be taught uniformly by the entire staff. You should have a clinic with your entire staff, and whoever's in charge, whether it's your head coach, your defensive coordinator, needs to make sure that everybody is using the same terminology, teaching tackling the same way. It needs to be uniform for the entire staff. It needs to be planned out, okay? We tackle. We step on their toes, we get chin in the chest, we get eyes in the V of his neck, we shoot the hands, we grab high cloth, we run our knees high and wide. That's everybody in the program should be using those keywords. Coach on the sideline screaming, wrap up, we got to have a talk. Wrap up, first of all, doesn't mean anything, and second of all, pisses me off, and third of all, it's not something that we teach. Okay? We shoot our hands and grab high cloth. We don't wrap up. If you wrap up, that's part of your tackling terminology, that's fine. It's not what we do, okay? And it drives me crazy when guys say, wrap up, wrap up. It's the same guy yelling at the offensive line, mark somebody. Frick. Most of your tackling is going to be open field, ugly, hideous, open field tackles, gang tackles, where 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guys are getting there. Okay, we have something we tell our kids, we say 9-5-9. Okay, 9-5-9. 9 guys within 5 yards of the ball on 90% of the film clips when we watch game film. 9 guys within 5 yards of the ball 90% of the time. That lets our corners get run off on because we're playing press man coverage. We still get 9 there 90% of the time. Okay, gang tackling, pursuit. When I talk about working tackling every day, I'm talking about things like pursuit. How do you get to the ball? It's not about big hits. listen to this and tell me if I'm wrong. There's nobody on your football team that you'll play, at least, that you'll put on the field, who can step on a kid's toes consistently, who can step on a ball carrier's toes and not get him to the ground. If I can step on his toes, I can tackle him. If I can step on his toes, I can tackle him. So a lot of our tackling work is in approach. It's in how we get there. We run pursuit drill every single day. Okay? It's in approach. It's in how we get to the ball carrier. It's in taking good angles. It's in our fit. Okay? These are how we work tackling. Our tackling drills that I'm going to show you now for our tackling circuit. Eye opener, which is our fit tackle, gator roll, angle tackle, open field tackle. Okay? We go into a tackling circuit. We go defensive line, linebackers, safeties, and corners. Our defensive line usually has to be split up among a few different groups because that's also all of the offensive linemen who just need somewhere to go on defensive days. Okay, eye opener. I'm going to go through these rather quickly, but this is our tackling circuit. I'm going to put 4 step-over bags down on the ground. Okay, I've got 4 step-over bags down. I've got a line of ball carriers. Keep in mind we're doing this in a circuit. We only got 2.5 minutes at each station, so we're moving. Linebackers here, not running backs. Okay, line of ball carriers, line of linebackers. Ball carriers are facing straight ahead, and they're just going to jog. Okay, he's jogging. Our linebackers are looking at his backside hip, so we're teaching run fits too. We're teaching them to play him for cutback. Okay, they are shuffling. They are in an open shuffle, shuffling down, watching his inside hip. He's jogging at about 70%. He turns up in the hole. We're shuffling with him. When he turns up, as we're shuffling, we should have our front foot slightly up. Okay, again, just like we did in our stance. When he steps up in the hole, I'm going to step. Okay, I'm going to take that first initial step. I don't want to drop step back here. I want to make sure he doesn't drop step back here. I want to step. I want to get my chin in the chest. Again, your tackling technique will come in here. Chin in the chest, eyes in the V of his neck. My chin will be between his numbers. I want to step on his toes with my feet, shoot my hands, run my knees high and wide. Keep him from spinning out of me. Grab high cloth. Okay? Chin in the chest, eyes in the V of the neck. So I want the eyes up. I want to shoot my hands, grab high cloth, and run him through. The ball carrier, when he turns up, is kind of turning up and giving himself up. I don't want him to just turn around and stop, but he's kind of giving himself up to the tackle. Don't let these guys turn and try to bowl the linebacker over. That's not the purpose here. I don't use a ball. Balls just get tossed all over the place here. But that's your fit tackle. They can pick any gap. I don't tell him which gap to pick, so he can turn up wherever he wants. Once they go, linebacker comes around, ball carrier goes around. Make sure they stay out of the drill because we're rapid fire. Once we all go to the right, I'll flip them all over here. We'll come back the other way. That's station 1. Station 2 is a gator roll tackle. Okay, if you don't know what a gator roll is, I talk about it pretty extensively on the site. It's your roll tackle, but I'll draw a little picture here. A little art class today. Okay, here's our ball carrier, thigh boards. All right, what we're teaching our kids is we're teaching them there's a zone from the bottom of the numbers to the thigh boards. Okay, if we are in an open field tackle coming from an angle, if we're in an open field tackle, especially, we really work this with our DBs, but our backers work this a lot too. Our defensive line does this a lot too. Everybody works it. Our safeties probably use it the most, but we work with just everybody. Okay, I'm coming from an angle. He's running this way. I'm coming from an angle. If I'm coming from the left, I want to get my left ear across. I want to see my left ear will be in contact with him. Okay, my left ear, again, there's my little guy here, face mask. My left ear is getting on my left ear hole is going to be contacting that zone. My shoulder pads will be in contact with that zone. Okay, my arms are wrapping around his thigh boards, around his thighs. Okay, my arms are wrapping around his thighs. What I really want to get is this far leg. And when I do that, I'm going to take my right shoulder and pin it to the ground and roll in the direction that the ball carrier is running, so that even if I don't get a leg, I'm still rolling underneath him. Okay? I just want to give a quick explanation of that, but that's what we're trying to do. If it's something you haven't incorporated yet, look into it. Again, we have more information on the site. We are going to have a coach or an injured player, not an injured one, but one that's we can have a player carry the bag. We won't get an injured one for this. But we're going to have a bag that's leaned. So we're going to have a coach holding this bag by a handle here, and he's kind of running this way. Okay, the ball carrier. So he's simulating a ball carrier running away from the tackler. So here's our linebacker. He's going to run. I do not work gator roll tackles. The only time that they gator roll tackle live is in live scrimmage. Again, 17 snaps on Monday, 13 snaps on Wednesday. He's going to run him down. Again, he's going to get that left ear across. Okay. He's going to shoot those hands across. Ours have numbers on them. Shoot the arms around the bag. And then he's going to take that right shoulder, pin it to the ground, and roll away. Squeeze the bag in. We have a whole gator roll progression, but this is what we're doing, making sure that we work it every day in our tackling circuit. There's video of that on the site for members. Angle tackle, pretty similar. I'm going to set down we use pylons here. We've got an old set of pylons in our shed. Okay, so we'll just put down these pylons just to give our kids some guides. We'll just put down 4 pylons. And I'll set out ball carrier, tackler. Ball carrier is just going to run down. Again, none of these are full speed contact. Okay, we're gonna work down. We want to see the feet, good base over the pylon. We just want to fit that guy up, get our hat in front, run our feet. Okay, we're trying to run through the middle of his body. We want to put most of our force in an angle tackle into the middle of his body. Get that hat in front, run our feet. Okay, that's just an angle tackle. Pretty basic. And then we're going to work open field. We will start with a 5x5 box, and we will slowly widen as they get better. Early in the season, we're 5x5, then we'll go 7x7, 10x10. Late in the season, we're 15x15. We do this 2 different ways. One is to set 2 cones out about 3 yards apart. In our tackling, we teach a balance point when you come to balance. Breakdown, shimmy, whatever you want to call it. We teach a balance point. It's 3 steps apart. So we put those cones about what would be 3 natural steps apart. Okay? This is the non-contact version, which is what we do most of the time. Ball carrier, linebacker. They jog up to that cone, and then the ball carrier will break one way or the other. And we'll start out doing it on a whistle. We'll blow the whistle, they jog up to the cone, and then blow the whistle to tell the ball carrier where to go. The ball carrier picks a side, okay, whichever way he's going to go. What you want to see here is this linebacker come to balance, feet under him, okay, feet under him, and then when the ball carrier steps, what you want to see is that he does not cross his feet over. So if this ball carrier goes to his left, you want to see that his first step is with that left foot. Okay, you want to see that his first step is with that left foot, and then he's getting that hat in front and then running his feet to get him out of the box. The goal is to drive him out of the box, not take him to the ground. Okay? If you get him out of the box, we'll say that this is the sideline. This represents your help. So maybe this is a defensive lineman coming to help. We don't actually put a defensive lineman out there. Well, this is what the scenario we tell him. You got open field. You got help 2 yards to the inside. You got a sideline 2 yards to the outside. Break him down. When he chooses a side, you step lateral with him. Okay? Don't cross your feet over. Step lateral. Watch his hips. And then we'll go to a full deal. Not very many reps. 1 or 2 reps. Where we'll actually go to the ground in this. 1 or 2 reps a week max. Sometimes 2 weeks. Where we'll go in this box. We'll let the ball carrier go where he wants to go. Early on, we'll tell him 1 cut. We'll do it more in camp. that linebacker's got to get him down or get him out of the box. And again, out of the box is just like getting him down to the ground. You just don't let him get across that line. Start small, slowly expand. Here you can see a kid's broken him down, a little bit far off, but this is where they got to the breakdown point. Okay, this would be, if we had the cones out here, this was live, but not to the, this was live, but not to the ground. When your kids get good at it, they can go live and stay off the ground. You can see when he broke, see this lead step, okay? He's not crossing that back foot over. This kid's pretty good. When he broke, he drives lateral with that lead step. He's going to get his hat across, and he runs him out of bounds. This is our starting middle linebacker that's really good, that we hardly ever let have contact after about halfway through the season because he broke himself during games. When they get really good, he went through all the drills, but he didn't do any live contact stuff. Okay, that's our tackling circuit. Again, everything can be done without going to the ground. We don't have hardly anything in our system that doesn't allow us to stay off the ground. Defeating blocks is the hardest skill for young linebackers to learn. Okay, this is number 2 for us. Defeating blocks is the hardest skill for them to learn. It is, when I was my 1 year in college recruiting linebackers, I'll tell you how hard it is to find linebackers who can defeat a block, who don't just use their athleticism, because athletic guys will just run around it. They'll find ways. You have to teach them to defeat blocks. To make a tackle, we teach our guys that you must defeat at least one block. You must defeat at least one block to make the tackle. Otherwise, it's not you that made the tackle, it's the offense that screwed up. Now, we count it. I'm not saying that, but as far as stats go. But to make a really great play, you must defeat at least one block. Every run play on the offense is designed to block the linebackers. So you're not going to get the opportunity to just go there and tackle the guy. We never, ever run around the block. If you run around the block, then you're leaving the area that they're trying to push you out of. You are blocking yourself. Never, ever allow your kids to run around the block. They must defeat the block. We have 3 ways that we teach a block destruct. Okay, we teach a rip, we teach big surface, and we teach hands. Last year, we were really struggling to defeat blocks. I did not teach hands at all. Okay, I did not teach hands at all. We got much better. We did a much better job of defeating with big surface. I think we still need to get better knowing when to use the rip. We got much better with big surface, significantly better. And so this year we'll work hands. It's a progression. We had to step back with these kids for the entire year and just work big surface, Okay, but you must defeat a block. I think you should pick one of these styles to be really good at. And you work on them all. I want to give kids options, but I want to pick one, and big surface is it for us. And I'm going to talk about it, what that means. Big surface is the one that we want to be really good at. But I want to give my kids options. Some kids are better with their hands. Some kids just aren't very good with their hands. Some kids love a rip move. Defensive linemen use it all the time. Linebackers need to use it sometimes. A rip move is about avoiding contact. It's removing the blocking surface and getting the hands off of you. Okay, so when we work a rip move, it's to avoid contact and remove the blocking surface from the blocker. The teaching points on a rip move are to grab grass, punch the sky. When you start to teach it, you get them in a line, and if you've got grass on your field, have them scrape grass, grab grass, and hold it up, punch the sky, and throw the grass up in the air. Have them show the grass to you. Okay. Some people say Florida to Maine. If you're on the West Coast, that might not mean anything to them. I don't know that it means anything to our kids in there in Virginia, but maybe kids in Maine know where Florida is. Okay, Florida to Maine, from the bottom to the top. Stress being overstress and overemphasize low to high. Overstress and overemphasize the violence. Don't let them just swing their arm. You'll get just a straight arm swing. Make them rip the arm. Okay. We teach big surface. Big surface is when they contact the blocker with their shoulder, the front of their shoulder, that front deltoid, the front of the shoulder pad, the bicep, the pec on the blocking side, and the forearm. Okay, it's big surface. So when I'm talking big surface, and I make contact with that guy, I want to make contact with my shoulder, the more artwork here, my bicep, my forearm, okay, and my pec. They're all going to make contact here. This is the surface that is going to be making contact. That's the big surface. Young guys will want to throw the forearm out there, and I tell them you throw the forearm out there against a 300-pounder, he's going to break it. Okay, big surface. Get under the blocker. This is the most important thing that you can teach your kids. Go back and look at film of every single time that a kid got blown up trying to defeat a block. I'll bet you his inside foot was up in the air or back. He's got to step hard and strong with the inside foot and lift. We use that clean motion, that hang clean motion, to lift up through and separate by pushing the forearm off. I have them start out in a fit and separate and grunt. Okay, separate that guy off of him and take away the space. Take away the space and reclaim that space, and then get your body back down into a hitting position. Okay, that's big surface for us. Hands are used to keep separation. Don't allow the blocker to get into your body. Okay, hands are used when we're scraping. Hands are used when we're scraping. I'm using big surface on an iso destruct. I can use hands when I'm scraping more. Hands, we're going to use strong inside foot. I want my hands inside of his. I want my thumbs up. Okay, hands inside of his, thumbs up. I want to get underneath the blocker's pads. Again, leverage. Get underneath, strike, strong inside foot. Lock him out with that same hip motion. As I strike with the hands, lock out to separate. Strong inside foot, hands inside and thumbs up. Under the blocker, strike with the hands. Don't put the hands on him. We work against the bag. We work strike. We step and strike the pad. We strike the pad. Okay, overemphasize that. You've got to strike and separate. Bring the hips. If you have nice stuff like a lev sled, that's great. We don't have that. Okay, block destruct. These are out of order. Okay, all we're going to do on a block destruct is I'm going to put a blocker. Okay, with a bag. I almost always have them hold a bag, even in season with pads on. A lot of times I'll have them hold a bag, minimize contact. They don't need this much. They don't need that much contact. And I'll tell them, all right, right now you are shaded left. Okay, so he'll start with his right foot splitting the crotch. Right foot splitting the crotch here. He's going to run up to attack him. If it's a block destruct with big surface, he's going to strike him with that big surface on the pad, lift, separate, and shuffle. Get ready to look for the play. I'll have a coach here who will point him. So he'll lift, separate, and I'll point him and sprint him off or sprint him off. Okay? Finish the drill. But the important thing is that he ends up taking this space away, that he moves the blocker out of that area. Strong inside foot when he steps on the crotch, okay, and lifts up through him. I'll do the exact same thing when I'm working hands. Okay? I'll do the exact same thing working hands. Same basic drill. We'll just focus on using hands. We'll go more from a head-up position or have them scrape. So I'll work from here. Okay? I'll work from here and I'll scrape at like a not quite a 45 degree, like almost flat. And I'll have this guy just punch him with that pad. I want to see him punch with the hands, lift, separate, shed it off, and then continue on. From there, I can add in a ball carrier. Okay, there's big surface. It's not quite perfect because the blocker's coming from a bad angle, but that's very similar to what you'll see on an iso destruct. See this inside foot? I want to see this foot a little bit more underneath him so that he can use it more to lift up. But that's basically what we want. I want to see him a little bit more pec on this blocker. But he's keeping his shoulders square. I think our bag holder is not coming at a good angle here. Okay, I mean this kid's pretty good at it. He can iso destruct really well. They get down low, get underneath. You see the leverage that they get to with the bend. That's why you work your squats. That's why you work your cleans. That's why you work full bend, because they got to get down there. Like I said, I like to see him get that back foot up some. Too much separation with that back foot. But we really put emphasis on the front foot. Okay, 3-man rip. Basically what I'll do with that is I'll have a blocker, blocker. This is just nothing new. Again, I'll probably hand him a bag. And I'll have him run, and he'll rip with the right arm. He's going to step. He's going to open his hips up. He's going to rip that right arm through, grab grass, punch the sky. Then he's going to go, and he's going to rip with the left arm. We're just working. We're just getting a few rips in here. And he's going to go, and he's going to rip with the right arm. And I'll come back through, and we'll go left, right, left. Fast, simple. We're executing rip blocks. Have these guys really punch them. Okay, that's 3-man rip. Scrape and strike I already showed you. That's where we've got the blocker, linebacker, scraping, strike the bag with hands, and then shuffle, come off. What I'll do is I'll put a ball carrier here, and he'll be working. He just got to step and separate, strong inside foot, lift and separate, rip off the bag, and then we'll come and fit a tackle. Just a fit, not anything high contact. And then that's a shed and tackle. So I got this combined a little bit. Yeah, we always try to attack half the man. We always try to take half-man advantage. Okay, one of the questions is take out half the man. We always work half-man advantage. Okay, we always work half-man advantage. So I tell them to get underneath and lift that guy and separate him. Okay. I got a couple questions on this. There was a couple college guys, a couple semi-pro guys, a couple guys from Texas, where cut blocks are legal. We're in Virginia, where cut blocks are 100% illegal and rarely called on linebackers. So it just doesn't happen to us as much, but it does happen, and we do have to talk about it. Unfortunately, it's sad. Some people are such jack-offs that they want to teach their kids to cut a linebacker. That's pathetic when it's illegal. If it's illegal, fine, go ahead and do it. But, you know, you want to be a douche, be a douche. Okay? So here's what we teach with that. When we teach how to defeat a cut block, the key to defeating a cut block is to push the head away. So as we're defeating a blocker, we're going to key on that hat, especially when we're in an area. When I was coaching in college, we keyed the hat a lot. That cut block comes, I want to get the hands down and push the head away, and I want to give with my feet. It's almost like a sprawl in wrestling. Okay, it's almost like a sprawl in wrestling. And luckily, I was coaching in Iowa, and all of our linebackers were from Iowa, so it wasn't that hard to teach them. I'm like, you got to drop your feet. You got to drop your feet. You got to drop your feet. And I'm like, it's like a sprawl in wrestling. All these kids from Iowa were like, oh, okay. All of a sudden, they were masters at defeating a cut block. Give a step is the drill that we'll use for that. Okay, what we'll have them do. First of all, I'll put a kid on hands and knees out in front of him, and have him just dive out at their feet, and they're just watching that hat. He dives out at their feet, and they just push the head away, drop the feet, and then they get back up and come off. Now what I'll have them do, I'll put 2 bags staggered. You could put a third if you wanted to. I'm going to start my backer right here. I'm going to have him shuffle. I want his eyes up. I take that back. He's actually going to be more like here, up a little bit. Okay? Shuffle, eyes up, and I'll give him a signal here that he's being cut. So I'll be like standing here, and I'll just give him like a hand motion. Okay, so he's keying that hat. He gets to here. He's going to throw his hands out. He's going to throw his hands down to push the head away. He's going to drop his feet back. So his feet are here. As he gets to here, he's just going to drop those feet back and then come up and continue shuffling. And then I'll just shuffle with him or have somebody else standing here. He'll drop the feet, push the hands down, and then get back up and come off. And if you want to start working this, you can add in a ball carrier. Again, when I say ball carrier, they don't have a ball because that's not the goal here. Ball carrier just so that he comes off and is able to fit the tackle. Not take him to the ground. Just get there. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll whiz the hips, okay? I wrote an article on that. We whiz the hips. All we're going to come do is come through with our fit. So I'm an inside fit player. I'm going to come through and I'm going to tag his inside hips. I'm going to get good body position, but I'm going to get low. I'm just going to tag his hips and run by him. Okay, I'm not even going to contact him there. We can do all these drills with no pads and use whiz mode with it. Never make contact. The only thing that the kids will do is they'll learn to protect their nuts, because every once in a while, a lot of the kids miss the hips. So kids don't wear cups. So they'll just... This is why, probably one of the reasons we don't carry a ball, because they need their hands when we do that. So tackling and defeating blocks are team skills, and I think you can work them all in circuits. So we work defeating blocks in circuits. We also work takeaways in a circuit. Tuesday is our takeaway day. We have some good takeaway drills during that 10-minute period that we work on our full offense day. But tackling and defeating blocks are team skills. You know, we're limited to something like 90 minutes. Again, back to the contact thing, I think we're limited to like 90 minutes of contact. Good Lord, there's no way that we would ever come close to 90 minutes of live contact. It's impossible. Well, I don't understand what you're doing, playing bull in the ring for 30 minutes. That rule was written by people who either just wanted to cover their tails or have no idea what a football practice looks like. Okay, so we work both of those in circuits. We'll work defeat a block, and we'll just use different skills with the defensive linemen or with the backers, with the DBs, but they're still doing the same stuff. I love circuits because it lets all of your defensive coaches get to know all of your kids and coach all of your kids. They can hear different voices. I'm in a fortunate position this year where I won't be directly in charge of a position, which is pretty cool. But I'll be doing a lot with the linebackers and safeties. But I want to see all the kids, and I want everybody to. All right, run fits. We talk about key in the run. Our linebackers key the backs because it gives us a faster run read. Our primary key is the near back, and the secondary key is the guard. Simple, simple, simple. If the back goes to the right, the run's to the right. That's your key. The only thing that breaks is if you get a pull. Okay, so simple. I found that the run reads were faster on the backs. Are they better on the guards? Maybe. Are they better on a two-man surface? Maybe. Depends on how good the guards are. But faster, easier, more confident kids is usually the backs. We have some kids who prefer the guards. I teach them both. And we combine them both. Okay? So 2 drills that we work. Run reads. We're going to work in, out. We start out in, out, day 1, very fast-moving drill. We've been doing it since April. Very fast-moving drill. We are 5 yards apart. I have a linebacker here and a linebacker and a ball carrier here. Okay? I'm in a good stance. This ball carrier goes. I tell them to go to pick a gap. Okay? Wherever he wants, he can pick whichever one he wants. The linebacker read steps and then attacks downhill. We do not contact in this. It is all whiz. Attacks downhill, inside fit, whiz and run and come through. Okay? Get low at the contact point, tag his hips and come by. I want to see them actually simulate the hip movement as they come through, that they explode their hips up. Okay? That's how we work this drill starting off. That's how we'll work it in pregame. We can get everybody a rep in 2 minutes with this. Okay? Then we expand it. The biggest thing you're going to teach them early on in this, you're going to be looking for their feet, their stance, their read step, and that they know that they're an inside fit player for inside backers. Now, as we get into the season, I'll expand this thing. And I'll start saying, all right, now, again, we're a 4-2-5. You can line up whatever you are. We're a 4-2-5. And I'll say, all right, we're playing a zone read team. Okay, we line up. This is our center, guard, guard, tackle, tackle. We're both in 30s. Okay, we're keying the back. We're keying whatever comes out of the mesh. So I'll tell them, all right, we're going to go through here. Again, no ball. I'm going to have the back step into the mesh. Okay, with the quarterback. I'm going to have the quarterback. Okay, ride this mesh. Back comes out, and he can either go here. Okay, wherever he comes out. Let's say the back comes out here. Mike backer reads run, fits. The will backer, I have my end gap exchange. So I'll tell the will backer, you've got whatever comes out of the mesh to your side. Okay, so mesh comes out to his side. He goes and attacks out on the quarterback. This is where the original term came from, that these linebackers would be seeing in, at, out. So this is Adam. He's lined up over B gap. Inside, Adam, outside. I don't use any of that anymore. I just use the drill name. Now, obviously, if your linebacker was responsible for cutback and your defensive end was responsible for quarterback, okay, then you would have your will linebacker shuffle, playing for cutback. And if the running back were to cut back, he would fit him. Our linebackers are always inside fit, so they'll be closer to the football, closer to the inside, spilling it. We read backs through the guards. Yes, we're looking over the top of the guard's hat to the back. Okay. Alley press. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is not one of our most important drills. We will work it, but it's not every day, I guess you would say. This is outside runs. Now, our guys' responsibility is primarily inside run. But we're going to work our fits here. We'll do this a lot with the safeties. Okay. I'm going to have an end man on the line of scrimmage here, just a body. Okay, it could be an end. This represents his end guy. So I'm going to have my Mike, my Will, flip it around. I'm going to have a lead blocker. What they need to know is that they're an inside fit player. When we see fast flow, the backer on that side is tight to color off the defensive end. So he's trying to scrape paint with the defensive end, and he's going to block destruct the inside half of this guy. So he's going to be coming through, looking to block destruct and take control of that. The will backer, or the backside backer, he's looking for a run through. And I tell him it'll just be C gap. Okay? And he's looking to get to that line and then run flat down the line of scrimmage. Okay? Block destruct the inside half of the fullback, get down the line and run down the line of scrimmage. Again, we'll whiz it at the end. It's not full contact. Now what we do is we add in our force contained player is the safety. He fits outside. He fits inside. Then we can add in the free safety. He caps it, and we just build on this thing. Okay? This is alley press against the speed option. Again, I just have to find what I could get. There's our, it was actually a weak side speed option. There's our will backer fitting tight off the hip of the, I guess he's an end. He's just a body. Okay, fitting tight off of him. Against the speed option, we were fitting on the quarterback. C gap is the fast foot play. And our safety is fitting on the pitch option. And there's our Mike taking his run through. Okay, again, we'll get force. And then he works quarterback to pitch. But you get the concept. So we build on these things. These drills all build. Drills all build to the next thing. As far as guard reads, we only care about three things. I've taught everything in the world a guard could do, and I just think it's faster with the backs. I really do. However, I have had kids who like guard reads better, and I teach them, and I'm able to adapt and work individual kids. There's not a better one, I don't think. I mean, you know, if you're a master at teaching guard reads, by all means. But for me, teaching backs has been a faster read, a more accurate read. Our kids are more confident in it because we don't get sloppy guards. They're not trying to figure out was that a zone block or a down block or a reach block. It's a pull inside, a pull outside, or a hi-hat. That's all we work with the guards. Okay, so with our guard reads, pull inside, pull outside, hi-hat. So here's what we've got. I'm going to put a guard, a make-believe guard who's really a linebacker. Most of our linebackers are not guards. Most of our linebackers are fullbacks, H-backs, tight ends, things like that. This would be where my center would be. Okay. Here's my tackle. So this is my center, guard, tackle. Here's my backer. Okay. Again, I'm not going to put a back in right now. I will eventually build to add a guard into in, add, out. And eventually it just becomes you keep building until it becomes team. On a pull inside, the linebacker looks to fill the first open door on the other side of the center. He looks to fill the first open door on the other side of the center. He's just looking for daylight. He fires right now on a pull inside. First open door on the opposite side of the center. Now, as he goes, he will pick up the backfield action, so that if this is something like a sweep where they pull both guards, a buck sweep, they're pulling both guards, something like that, then he would break this thing off and not commit. But he sees a pull inside. He's looking for the first open door. I say that just to tell you we're not robots. So he's not stupid. If he goes running out, he sees ball tossed outside. I'm not telling him you have to hit that A gap before you can go anywhere. We teach football players, not robots. He's looking at that first open door. Okay, that's read number one. Read number two is a pull outside. Pull outside for us means sweep. It means outside run. I do the exact same thing. I execute my alley press now. Okay, my alley press. Pull outside. I fit tight the color off the defensive end. Pull outside tells me toss sweep. For us to try, anything, something is happening outside. I always get asked, what do you do about influence traps? I don't think you can beat us with an influence trap. I just don't think you can. I'm gonna see that twice in a season maybe. And again, we're only gonna take 2 steps with it and recover. Hopefully we can just make a tackle and line up. You're not gonna beat me by running influence traps all day. By pulling your, there's a reason that guards take you to the play. Everybody says the guards take you to the play. They absolutely do. Okay, they absolutely do. And teams aren't going to beat you by pulling them away from the play, because now they're losing numbers. And then a high hat, a pass set. I see that kid's helmet pop up. High hat tells me, again, I'm going to read step. I see high hat. Now I'm going to my pass responsibility. We're a man coverage team, so my eyes are on that back. My eyes are already on that back, but I see high hat. It just tells me. If I was zone coverage, I plant and I get to my spot. We're a spot drop in our cover 3. If we weren't, we'd be dropping on a player just like man coverage. 3 things we teach with the guards: pull inside, fill the opposite first open door on the opposite side of the center. Pull outside, it's an outside run play, alley press drill. High hat, pass. Everything else is predicated off the backfield action. Okay, we're a man coverage team. So we talk about our third thing we need to teach is coverage. We play a 2-on-1 with our linebackers. Okay, we've got 2 linebackers playing 1 running back in our base cover 1. We need to. They're not as fast as the backs. Some of them are backs, but they're not the starting backs usually. They're like the slow backs or the power backs and things like that. Although that may change this year. Our linebackers need to learn angles to play man coverage because the running back is usually faster. We don't attack up to them. We tell them 5-yard no cover zone. We tell them to just get leverage on the guy, break when the ball's in the air, play for the wheel, play for the vert, something like that. We always play the inside hip of the running back, try to force the quarterback to throw over top of the linebacker to get to the receiver or the running back. But we're always playing on that inside hip, so that's what we're working with is working lateral with that guy when he breaks up the field. I'm running at an angle. I fall off on his inside hip and I look at that inside hip. I watch his feet. I watch his hips. Whatever works best for them. When his hands go up, I tear him down. Okay, so we work our 2-on-1 man coverage. This is our 4th skill that we have to have. Again, tackling, block destruct. 2 big ones that we have to work. We're working tackling. We're working our block destruct. We're working our run fits, our coverage, and our blitz. Okay, for my man coverage 2-on-1 drill for us, I'm going to put a running back. I'm going to put a quarterback who might be me, which is embarrassing because I'm not a very good quarterback. And again, I'll put the backfield that we're going to see that week. So if we're going to see I backfield, I'll put it up there and we'll talk about it. We'll also work this with our safeties as well. But I'm going to put, again, for us, the Will and the Mike. This is our man coverage. What we do is if the back breaks to the Will side, he's got him, and the Mike goes to play low hole. And then we work basically whatever routes we're going to see that week. Early on, we're just working a flare. I'll work them on a vertical. I'll work them on an angle, which is the hardest one to cover. But as long as they keep that inside leverage with the guy, it's easy to play. And I'll just throw the ball up, try to let them catch it. They don't get to catch many balls unless they're a running back, so give them the chance, or a tight end. Some of ours are H-backs that get to catch a decent amount of balls. And again, this is all going to depend. I'm just showing you what we do. It's really going to depend on what your scheme is. You got to figure out how to break your scheme down to one or two guys playing it. Zone coverage, we would focus on zone eyes. When we work our cover 3, we don't work it very much. We spot drop it because we don't play it very much. Watch the guy who's going to decide where the ball is going to go when you're a spot drop cover 3. Eyes on the quarterback, get to your spot. So all we're going to have him do in our zone drop, I just stand here with the ball and pretend to be a quarterback and sing Glory Days in my head. And I do a little halfway drop back. I don't even really try. I just pick the ball up because I'm not a quarterback. I was a 180-pound defensive lineman. Okay? And they step, read, run. I'll hold the ball down to hold them and then pick it up, that kind of thing. Pick the ball up, show pass, ball up high. They break to a spot. I'll get them to that spot, and then I'll just work my shoulders one way or the other to get them shuffling and watching the quarterback. And then I'll throw to one of them, let him catch it. Bingo, get up the sidelines. Okay? As much as possible, in our takeaway circuit, we will always work interception drill. Okay? We always work some sort of interception so that they get to catch footballs. You don't want to. It's not that important that your linebackers can catch, and a lot of ours can't. However, if somebody throws a ball at their face, you'd like for them to catch it. And quarterbacks in high school tend to throw the football at the linebacker's face once or twice in a season. And linebackers tend to drop those once out of 2, it seems like. So work them catching the ball. Our last skill is blitzing. You have to teach your guys how to blitz. Guys go, well, just go. We pin our ears back. We put tape over the ear holes. Teach your guys to blitz. Stop letting them just run into the wall. They're at best, for most of us, they're 200 pounds blitzing a 280-pound lineman. Or they're a $160 blitzing a 250-pound lineman, or a 300-pounder, or a 330-pounder. Okay? You can't just tell them, go run A gap. They're just going to get picked up. It's really easy for offensive linemen to pick up most linebackers. Really easy. Okay? We have run blitz. On a run blitz, you have to block destruct. Okay, this is block destruct. This is big surface. Okay, this is big surface. Or hands, depending on what you're doing. Attack the blocker. Control the inside half of your gap. We're a spill player. Control the inside half of the gap. Force the ball to go to the outside. Okay? As long as we have our hips in the gap, we have control of it. When you're run blitzing, you're basically becoming an extra defensive lineman. We don't want to go past the heels of the offensive lineman. We don't want to run up the field and get ourselves trapped and kicked and beat down. We don't want to run ourselves out of the play. If we get to the heels of the offensive lineman, we need to get our hips down, find the ball. That's a run blitz. Okay? We're going to attack and look to block destruct on the inside half of our gap. We're not trying to get through and get up the field. A pass blitz, we need to get our shoulders skinny. Okay? On a pass blitz, we need to get our shoulders skinny. The biggest mistake that you see guys making blitzing is they run with their shoulders square and their chest up. We need to drop our shoulder, get skinny, meaning turn our shoulders to the side. I'll show you a picture in a minute. Turn our shoulders so that our shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and then we're going to rip through the blocker. We need to know who our block threat is. Okay? If I'm blitzing C gap, I know that the tackle's probably the one who's going to pick me up. I get the shoulders skinny. Or I know that the center's probably the one who's going to pick me up. I get the shoulders skinny, or the guard, or whoever it is, and I rip through his hands to keep them off of me. And I rip low to high. So I'm still getting block destruct work here. Okay? I rip low to high to get through it. How do I know which one to use? Your linebackers have to know situations. They have to know tendencies. They have to study. They have to sit down with you. if you know game plan, then you can say, look, on 1st and 10, they're a run team. On 3rd and 7, they're okay. You can look at their tendencies. If you don't, teach them basic football tendencies. 1st and 10 is a rundown for almost everybody. Okay. 2nd and 3 is a rundown. 2nd and 9 is a screen down. 2nd and 1 is a shot. All right. 3rd and long is a pass. 3rd and 3 is a run. All right. When do you pass blitz? 3rd and 7. When do you run blitz? 1st and 10. Okay. Now, if you're blitzing on a run blitz and you see him set, now you work into a pass blitz. Now you work into a pass rush move. You work to knock the hands down, or you just get skinny and rip through. A lot of guys are, if you're blitzing on cadence, you need to know ahead of time. If you're trying to jump the snap a little bit, and that's what a lot of what we do. But they have to know the situation, and you have to teach them that. They're not going to know football. I always hear from guys that are international say, Coach, it's not like you guys. Our kids don't really understand football. Our guys, they didn't watch football growing up. Ours do. They don't understand football. They don't understand. They just don't. Nobody punts in Madden, so they don't know that 3rd and 7's a passing down. Why? You still got 2 runs. You can stay on schedule. Every down's a passing down. Used to be. I don't know. I haven't played Madden in a while. Hey, get skinny. I'll set up 2 bags, 2 bag holders. Again, you can see we don't use a whole lot. There's not a lot of contact in our practice. 2 guys standing here with bags. All right. They represent offensive linemen. Me, coach, standing back here. Ball carrier. I didn't mention on block destruct, too, and it's the same here. We're only about 3 yards apart. So we're not looking for violent collisions. Okay. Here's my linebacker. He runs. He lowers his level. He brings that shoulder, whichever one he's going to be ripping through with. So let's say that this guy is his biggest block threat. He's going to turn his left shoulder now up the field. Get those shoulders skinny. Okay, so he's going to get himself here now. He's going to take his right hand and rip through. Take that right hand and rip through. And as he comes through, get back to balance. And then I'm going to give him a redirection back here. I'll tell him one way or the other. And he sprints off. I like to end everything with a 5-yard sprint. A little burst. Somebody asked about conditioning in the chat box. We don't condition. We just move fast. I get 5-6 drills in a 15-minute period. Here's an example of get skinny. See, the shoulders are turned. He misidentified his block threat, but that's because his block threat should have been blocking the defensive end. Scout team's great. He's going to take that left arm and rip through. So he gets the shoulders turned. He's expecting to rip through this guy, but they changed up the protection call on him, I guess. So he's going to take that left shoulder and rip through. This may not even be scout team. I can't tell. He take that left arm and rip through. There's a pass blitz. Get those shoulders turned. Rip through. Come back to balance. Find the football. So it's been a good-on-good period. Now, look, everything that we've talked about, you can't do all these drills every single day, and you shouldn't be doing all these drills every day. Like I said, I've got a tackling circuit, so we're getting 4 of those in. I move very fast. We don't condition. We run pursuit. We run our tackling circuit. We may do a block destruct circuit, but a lot of times we'll just block destruct in our individual groups. I'll go to individual, we'll run in, out, block destruct, alley press, maybe bring the safeties to work alley press. We'll work our man coverage drops, and then I'll work something that we have a problem with that we need to solve, okay, if I have time. If I don't have time, again, prioritize. Number 1, tackling. Number 2, block destruct. Number 3, run fits. Number 4 is your pass coverage. Number 5 is blitzing. We work our tackling circuit as a team twice a week. We work a takeaway circuit once a week. So I haven't said anything about strips or anything like that. We will work that in a pregame. We will work it occasionally in practice if we're not getting enough takeaways. Working on our individuals. If we're missing opportunities to strip the football, but we will work a takeaway circuit focusing on it during our 10 or 15 minutes during that offensive day for us. Along with these skills, along with these 5 skills, your linebackers will need to work, that shouldn't say along with these skills. The drills that you're, along with tackling and takeaway is what I'm trying to say. Along with your tackling and your takeaway, the 4 drills that your linebackers need to work every day are in, out. During the season, you should try to show them game situation as much as possible. Even add in guards if guards are a major part. Playing a wing T, I'm going to set up that wing T backfield. We don't cross key the wing backs or anything like that. So I'm going to set up that wing T backfield, especially if they're red and blue. I'm just going to put that fullback, quarterback, 2 guards. Wing T is the only week where we focus on the guards. Only week where we focus in on the guards. Because I don't want their eyes in the backfield. I want them to trust the guards. But the guards pull, so it makes it easier. We're going to work block destruct on the big surface every day. So we're going to work in, out, and we're going to try to show them whatever backfield we're seeing that week. We're going to work block destruct with the big surface, block destruct, every day. That's about 5 minutes worth of practice for me to work both of those. Once we've got it taught, not during camp, but in season. We're going to work our pass coverage, man-to-man for us, or zone drops if you're a zone. If we're going to play more zone that week, we'll work our zone drops one day and man-to-man the other day. Okay, most of the time we're heavy man coverage, heavy cover 1. And we're going to work a get skinny every day. Okay, we're going to work a get skinny. Why are we not working a run blitz every day? Because that's block destruct. Okay, so 4 drills we're going to work: in, out, block destruct with the big surface, pass coverage whether you're man-to-man or zone, and get skinny, your pass blitz every day. And that's letting us work the rip move there that we're not working because we're working big surface. It's letting us work our rip move and get skinny. So we're getting multiple things out of it. Then we go to group, then we go to team. Then we go to inside run or outside run. We go to inside run. We go to 7-on-7. We go to team. The drills are for problem solving. So understand what your drills are for. You're drilling to fix technique issues. You're drilling to improve technique. You're drilling to build muscle memory. You're drilling to create better players doing the things that you need to do. Drills are not about getting tougher. Drills are not about getting tougher. Tougher kids are the kids that are more confident. Tougher kids are the kids that are in your weight room every day. Tougher kids are the kids that believe in you. Tougher kids are the kids that don't want to let the people around them down. They're not the kids who you beat the crap out of all day playing bull in the ring. Don't beat down your kids. Teach them good skills and keep them healthy. Drills are not to kill practice time. I have guys email me and say, I just need some linebacker drills. I got 30 minutes of practice. Holy crap. You just want me to throw drills at you? What do you run? What defense do you run? What skills do your kids have? What skills do your kids lack? I'm going to look. Now, I told you a bunch of drills, but I'll tell you there's a lot of stuff that we'll do. We'll be going through the season. We'll go through a game, and there'll be something we don't do really well. And I'll break that down to a microcosm level. And I'll say, all right, here's what we weren't doing. You know, and it's this particular play, it's this situation. And I'm just going to break it down to a one-on-one. And I'm going to build it to a two-on-two. And I'm going to build it to a group period, and we'll fix it in team. Okay? It is a drills solve problems. What problems are you having? Design a drill to work on it. And it is definitely not to learn some skill that they will rarely or never use. So something that you just see guys do. I don't have a problem with it. If you're running through ropes every day, if you're running over bags, our linebackers don't just trip. Everybody says, well, there's trash everywhere, there's guys everywhere. Our linebackers are athletes. They don't just trip and fall, and we never, other than we do some stuff during our camp week, you know, just it's like conditioning stuff that we do during that 1 week that's just kind of that's a toughness thing because it's at 5:30 in the morning more than anything, but that's the only time that they will ever run over bags. Or we don't even have ropes anymore, or ladders. Okay, they're not just going to trip and fall. When you drill, you have to know what problem you're solving. Fix one problem at a time when you're drilling. And it may be a different problem for every kid. In week 6, I may have one kid who's still false stepping on in and out. I might have one kid who's still not fitting inside fit. But my starter is just, maybe he's taking a slightly off angle. Maybe he needs to get his hips a little bit lower. Maybe I'm looking at where his eyes are pointed. I'm looking for one little thing with him. He may have, the starter's a good athlete. By week 6, in and out is just kind of a warm-up for him. Okay? I'm fixing one problem at a time. I'm fixing one problem at a time with these kids. Working at better angle, what is it that he needs to work? And fix one thing. Don't try to fix everything at once. When I go into a drill, first day of in and out, all I'm going to look at is their feet. Are they false stepping? That's all I'm going to look at. And I'm going to look to see if they fit inside or outside. One thing at the beginning, one thing at the end. Everything else we'll fix later. You need to meet with your linebackers at least once a week off the field, in an office, or wherever you can, and make sure that they understand the game plan. Not just the game plan for that week, but they understand your defense. They need to understand the goals. You need to let them into your head as a defensive coordinator or a head coach or linebackers coach. You need to let them know what you guys are thinking, because they are the guys that are running things on the field. Okay? They are the guys that are in charge. They need to understand. If they understand, if you can clearly articulate to them why you do what you do, they will have more confidence in your game plan, which means they're going to play faster, which means you're going to be better, which means you're going to win more games. And empower your linebackers to take a leadership role in the defense. Linebackers who don't want to take a leadership role, they make wonderful defensive ends. Remember to keep it simple with them. If you keep it simple, your kids will understand what you're teaching them. If they understand what you're teaching, they build confidence. If they have more confidence, confident kids play faster. Fast kids win. That's science. Okay, I just dropped some real science on you there. Fast kids win football games. Okay? So you need to look. What are the 5 skills that your guys have? When you go to look at that, do you need to simplify your scheme? Do you need to make your scheme a little more specific so that you can get your linebackers to do a few things they need to do? Or do you need to have a better understanding of certain things about your scheme so that you can teach them better to your linebackers, so you can build more confidence, or so that you can identify the skills that they need? Do you need to have a better understanding of run fits, of blitzing, coverage, of position drills that you can do and how to develop drills, how to plan the practice, how to game plan, how to know what skills they need to have? Okay, if you need those things, guys, footballdefense.com, you can become a footballdefense.com insider. Okay, we're all about keeping it simple, playing with confidence, playing fast, so that you can win more football games. I don't guarantee you wins. I guarantee you won't be worse. It won't be a waste for you. You'll be better. Okay, you'll be better. You'll learn. There's plenty for you to learn. And again, come with an open mind. I'm learning every single day. My stuff has changed. Again, I put 5 years of stuff out there. It changes constantly, and I just have to live with the fact that it's out there. I got articles back there that say you can't play man coverage in high school. We played 90% man coverage last year. Whoops. Okay. There's 390 articles and videos. They all come from me. All but maybe 5 of them come from me. Why does that matter? Because it's a consistent message. It's a consistent message. It's one that's changed a little bit over time, but everything that's on there is a consistent message of my language. Keeping it simple. We're not trying to come up with. You can go to a lot of places. You can get a lot of fancy stuff about what this D1 guy and that NFL guy are doing. Can you teach it to your kids? Are you getting 19 different messages? If you go and search on Coach Huey, which I love and I go there all the time, but it's 100 different coaches throwing their ideas out there, which is great. It's good to go and get ideas. But when you need an answer, okay, it's good to get it from one voice. 20 recorded web clinics. Those are not all one voice. There's a few different guys who have done them. 2 of them are from Ricky Kuhn, who I learned a ton of stuff from. Aaron Seghetti did one on quarters coverage in the 4.25, and I loved his stuff. The guys that I invited to do it are because I knew them, and I knew that we were of the same mind, or saw them at a clinic, played against them, coached with them. Ricky Kuhn I learned the 4.25 from. He did a clinic on defensive line for us. He did a clinic on blitzing in the 4.25. Aaron Seghetti did a clinic on quarters. Pete Matasio did a clinic on 3-5-3. We played them, scrimmaged them every year, and I love the way his linebackers play. And I've done 3-5-3, 3-4, bear front, 4-2-5, 4, which is the same as a 4-4, 4-3, a lot of 4-3 stuff, defending the spread, defending the wing T, game planning. It is a complete searchable database of answers to your coaching problems at footballdefense.com. Okay, Platinum Insiders get access to the Defending the Option e-course. That's a 1-year membership. Platinum is the annual membership. You pay for a year ahead of time. They get access to the Defending the Option e-course. It's about 2.5 hours worth of video on how to defend every type of option from every defense. Okay, it is worth $67 on its own. All right, by itself. Defending Option e-course covers how to defend zone read, how to defend power read, how to defend split back veer, how to defend flex bone, pistols, spread option, all those things. Platinum Insiders save over 53% off the regular monthly price. It's less than half of what a monthly membership is. You can go monthly or you can go annual. We also have a Champions Insiders package that includes 3 hours of one-on-one consulting with me. We sit down over a one-on-one go-to-meeting where we can see each other's faces and we can see each other's screens, and it's just like a meeting where you sit there and you get 3 hours of one-on-one consulting with me. We practice planning, game planning, drill development, player evaluation, whatever you need. I've written people's practice plans, done a bunch of stuff. I've written people's game plans. I've revamped their playbooks, whatever they need. I've just helped get their staff online. Champions Insiders save $20 off the regular consulting price. Okay, so you save about $70-some on that. Okay, what you can do, insider packages. You can see down there in the sidebar, the insider packages. I have a free trial, a free 14-day trial that you can start today. You can start tonight. You'll get access. You should get access tonight, and if you don't, send me an email, and I'll make sure you get access tonight. We are using a new system, and sometimes stuff gets lost in the translation, but we're getting better at it. And you can start a 14-day free trial tonight with that. At the end of your 14 days, whether you go annual, monthly, or Champions package, it will charge automatically. Again, the Platinum package saves a lot of money for you. I think on that page it says that Defending the Option is coming soon. I'm totally redoing that page, but I had to use it. And again, it's footballdefense.com/membership. If you guys have questions, put them into the question box, and I'm going to answer them for you as best I can. I know we're a little long tonight, but if you have questions, put them in there. The 5 skills total time is 20 minutes of Indy. 15, I can get it all in. I can get it all in 15 minutes. We do not work hand fighting martial arts stuff. I know about it. We don't. That's not something we have messed with much. Dave asked, when you look at your freshmen and new players, how do you pick your linebackers? Do you run them through some drills to see what you've got, or do you pick body types? Do not pick body types. They're freshmen. Okay. Do not pick body types. Here's what you got to do. If a kid wants to, this is the first thing that we do. Let everybody go where they want to go day one. Okay? Let everybody go where they want to go day one. We let everybody go where they want to go day one, and we start shuffling them around as we see fit. And after the first scrimmage, that's when we go and tell you, hey, you're not of this anymore. If we know the kid's a senior and we know he just wants to help the team, and we go to him and we say, look, we really need a guard. We'll move him early. But, we're talking about freshmen. Let freshmen go play where they want to play the first day. Okay? All the kids who want to be linebackers will go to linebacker. And you'll get them out there. And you'll see some kids who clearly are not linebackers. No, I honestly don't have a matrix to judge, or a rubric. A rubric's the word I was looking for. I don't have a rubric to judge the linebackers by. I definitely don't go by body type, especially at that age. Here's the thing about linebackers. Your best linebackers are the kids with the best instincts. Okay, the kids with the best instincts are your best linebackers, and you can't teach that. You cannot teach instincts, and so if you have a kid with instincts, play him. For God's sakes, don't let a kid who has great instincts not play. Find somewhere for him. Every D1 kid that I've ever coached, there are 2 of them. No, there's 1, 2. One was 1AA. There was a receiver, but he only played 2 games for us, and I didn't coach receivers. I had 1 DB. I had 1 kid that was actually a linebacker. Those kids were incredibly instinctive. Kids that I had at Ellsworth, JUCO, that were good enough to play at a high level were incredibly instinctive. And that was a high level. We were very good. You can't teach that. All this drilling and stuff, man. The kid who has had no drill work and is a better instinctive player is going to be better anyway. Okay, but obviously you start teaching him all these drills, you start working the drills with him, he's going to get better and better. Major difference between 4-3 Mike and 4-2 inside linebacker play. Not in the drills, but in the run, in the reads. The Mike linebacker is a 2-gap player in the 4-3 defense. So the question was, are there major differences between the 4-3 Mike linebacker and 4-2 inside linebacker? The Mike linebacker is a 2-gap player playing A-gap strong, B-gap weak. He's still inside fit. He's still got to block destruct. He's still got to tackle. He's still got to read the near back. He's still got to pick up guard pulls. He's still got to play pass coverage. He still has to blitz. So the drills, no, they're not different. The reads are a little bit different. Antonio, coaching defensive line and DB fundamentals and drills is a little bit beyond the scope of things tonight, but there is a defensive line drills web clinic, and then we have a lot of DB drills and discussion on footballdefense.com. Would you teach pass coverage to junior Mike 6 and 8-year-olds if you only see 1 or 2 passes a game? Honestly, with the linebackers, I might not. Just thinking about it. You know, if I'm in like a 4-4 with the inside linebackers, 6'2", 4-4, whatever you want to call it, 4-2-5, I might not teach the inside guys much about it. Your flat players have to be, because I imagine that's where the pass is going to go. Your outside linebackers, they have to be. But, you know, the inside linebackers, I might not. I'll be honest, one of the questions, I go back to the question about the Mike linebacker in the 4-3. When I had Mike linebackers, especially young Mike linebackers, I didn't even worry about the pass with them. They learned how to play the pass in 7-on-7, and we had one Mike linebacker got so frustrated because he could not defend the pass in 7-on-7 because they'd streak the running back down the middle of the field. I'd be like, because we're running quarters. Like, it's not a real route. Okay, it is a real route, but it never gets off like that. And you know, he just worked and we got into the season. That kid hardly ever worked pass. How much reps and time should each player get in each drill? Keel asked how much time, reps and time each player should get in each drill. 2 when you get in season. When you get good at it, it becomes reminders. I can do everything in 10 minutes. I got 20 earlier in the year. 4 reps. I go very, very fast. Let me tell you the other thing that I do. Okay, the other thing that I do now, and you guys need to do this if you can do it. Almost every single one of you can do this. If you have Huddle, you can definitely do it. Okay, take out your phone, open up your Huddle app, film a drill. You don't have to film them all. I know your battery's going to die. Film 1 drill. Run it. Give everybody 2 reps. Okay? And then when you get a chance to show it to them or go over it with them, whatever, then take them and show them that. And then you can show them everything they're doing wrong. Because on the field, when you tell them they false step, I promise you some of them are like, that jerk has no idea what he's talking about. I did not false step. Show them the film and say, look at your foot stepping back. And it'll fix it so much faster. Kevin asked about the 4-2-5 defense ebook, new defensive quarterback coordinator. Yes, there's a playbook in there, and it'll help you get everything set up for semi-pro. Absolutely. There's a playbook in the 4-2-5 defense ebook. There's the whole setup there for you. A simple, good, solid defense to run. The best thing to do to catch a player up to speed who has never been a linebacker, break it down as simple as you can. Key the back, fit inside, force him to go to the outside, work pursuit. Again, anybody who can step on their toes can make a tackle. JD, I appreciate it. Glad to Block Destruct helped you. Darrell asked the best way to teach 6 to 8-year-olds how to play linebacker. Break it down. Teach them how to tackle. Teach them how to defeat a block. Teach them how to read the back. And just run with the back. What I'd do is I'd set them back there and I'd say, when the back goes this way, you run and stay inside of the back or make sure he doesn't cut back on you, however you want to word it. I don't work with 6-year-olds, so I don't know all the words. I don't think that little kids are dumb. I just, one of the things I see with sometimes with youth guys is, we can't do that because you do that in high school. Dude, my kids are. I've had some thinkers back there before. All right, promise you. You can teach a 7-year-old how to do everything that we did. Okay. Now the one thing I'll say is, again, it's the same thing with the younger guys. If they don't throw the ball much, don't worry about passing. If you're not going to blitz, don't worry about teaching them to blitz. But they have to be able to tackle. That's a safety issue. They have to be able to defeat a block because, first of all, they'll move to the front of the line for scholarships if they can defeat a block because nobody can. And they got to be able to find the ball carrier. So I teach them that. I sit there and I run. I run tackling drills. I run form tackling. I run block destruct, big surface, rip. I run in, out. Thank you, Chuck. Hope that helps with the block destruction and the blitz breakdown. I'm trying to get everybody. I'm not going to be able to get everybody here. Steve, a typical practice plan. I just did our practice plan for offense today with our pistol power offense thing, so I've actually got this kind of in my head. Our typical defensive day, we're going to get off the field in 2 to 2.5 hours. Our typical defensive day, we're going to make it real simple. I'm going to go fast here. 10 minutes warm-up. This isn't exact. If you come out, you'll see a little bit of difference here. 10 minutes for warm-up, 5 minutes pursuit, and I saw a question about pursuit drill. I'll do that in just a second here. We're going to go 20 of Indy. I'll take that. Oh, excuse me. My head coach just tells me I got however many minutes, periods, so 5 periods, 25 periods of Indy, or 25 minutes of Indy. So that'll be, I'll use 10 minutes for a tackling circuit. Now early on I'll have more, I'll have 30 or something like that. I'll have 15 minutes of Indy where I'll do in, out. I'll do big surface, block destruct. I'll do, this is a really simple day, and this is early on. We're spending more time on these because I can get through them. Again, 8 minutes warm-up, I get through all these. I do an open field tackle, in, out, big surface. I will get a pass, and I'll say that I'll drop this if I have 7-on-7 sometimes. If I have 7-on-7, I won't worry about this because they're going to get to work that. And I'll just tell them to focus in on the back. Early on, we'll definitely work it, but I can cut that if I need to. And then I'm going to work a get skinny. And I have periods, 5-minute periods, but this is going to be probably 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and I'm out early. It's 14. My cones are set up. My bags are set up. My cones and my bags are set up, and I don't require very many of them. My kids know the drills. Oh, here's another good tip. If you're the defensive coordinator, fire all the kids who can't play linebacker, send them to defensive line. If they can't play inside linebacker, make them defensive linemen. If they can't play outside linebacker, make them corners. Okay? They just got masses of kids. Because I got to move fast. I know y'all can't do that. I'll have between 6 and 12 linebackers at any given time. I will actually, the nature of the beast, like I said, we'll start to hold some of our. Last year we were holding 2 of our seniors out during contact sometimes, and I would bring the kids from JV over just to get to work with them a little bit, get to know them a little bit, and to beef up my individual group. Because four kids, you can wear them out real fast, especially when you go the speed that I go. In and out came from. Question was, can you explain what in and out means? I showed the drill, but Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish the practice schedule. That was Indy, and then I'm going to have 10 minutes of team run, maybe 15 of team run, 10 minutes of 7-on-7, and 10 to 15. I'd rather go 10, but scout team sometimes takes a while to organize team. And then we're going to have 20 minutes of special teams in there. And then the offense is going to get 10 minutes on our defensive day. That's 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75. Yeah, it's hour and a half. 4 water breaks is 20. That's 2 hours. That's a 2-hour practice. That's a normal in-season practice. I do not like to stay on the field. My feet get tired. Not really. Hey, in and out. I assume the question is why do we call it in, at, and out? The original drill design, as I understand it, and I don't know if the person I think I stole it from Brophy years ago. Okay. So here's the center. All right. Here's my 4-2-5 linebacker, which is what we run. 30 technique. All right. The back goes inside. That's in. The back comes B gap. That's out. So A gap is in. B gap is, or excuse me, that's at. The back goes fast flow outside. That's out. Now, I assume the reason that he does this, that other people do this in, out. I don't know if they cap or outside fit the inside run. I don't know. We spill everything because, again, I'm all about simplicity. So I'm attacking inside half there, inside half there. My footwork's a little bit different. I'm lateral run, and I'm attacking inside half there. When I say inside half, I'm talking about getting the inside shoulder of the ball carrier, forcing him to continue to spill outside. So, for us, we don't use the in, out. That's what the drill was called when I stole it. We're just using it for run fits. We're using it for stance. We're using it for good first step. Antonio Huddle is our video editing software, HUDL. Let's see. Our tackling terminology. This is our things on tackling. Step on his toes. Now, we spend most of our time working approach angles. Okay? Step on his toes. Chin in the chest. Eyes in the V of the neck. We used to say eyes in the throat, and our head coach thought that was possibly a little bit, that could be questioned. Eyes on his throat. So we changed the V of the neck. Left one out. Hands in the holsters. These are all the coaching points for us. And then I say bring the hips, like I say roll the hips. I tell them make it like a clean, so I just say bring the hips. Shoot the hands. We want to punch the hands through. It's not like an up ripping motion. We want to punch the hands through his armpits where the ball would be. Okay. Shoot the hands. Grab high cloth. We want to grab up on the top of the shoulder pads with our hands. And we want to run with our knees high and wide. Okay? There is nothing you need to tell a kid other than that for tackling. And if there's anything wrong in his tackling, it is probably in one of these things. If he steps on his toes, he probably didn't miss the tackle. So probably the rest of these are just irrelevant. And we want to have other things to say to them. I've never seen a kid step on his toes and miss the tackle. Okay? Chin in the chest, that's going to get us down low. Eyes in the V of the neck, that keeps our eyes up. Holsters, I don't want to see these kids that do this. That's not what I'm drawing on. They do this thing. Where their hands do this Superman thing back here. Okay? They throw their arms at. Their hands should be right here. Okay? My hands don't need to go any further than that. This one where they fling their arms back like they're going to set sail, all that does is cause your head to drop. Lost that. Sorry about that. I lost that whole thing. Outside linebacker fundamentals and drills. Our outside linebackers are mostly working block. I mean, they're doing all this. They're working tackling. They're working block destructing. They work block destructing from a different angle because they attack outside. They do in at out, but they do it slightly differently. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it goes. Huh. So our outside linebackers will work an in at out that looks kind of like this. And ours are pedaling. You're probably not. Ours are in man coverage. So he's got a force, or he's got a force outside fit, or he's got a force outside fit. You know, whatever it is. Now we play real wide, so. But he's just got to get downhill and meet the guy. Meet him with his inside shoulder, keep his shoulders square, block destruct, big surface, and then shuffle out after block destructs. If it's a lead, we do it with a lead blocker rather than a tackler. If we want to block destruct it, we work that a ton. They work tackling. They work blitz technique, but they blitz off the edge. So it's just about blitzing to the back elbow of the quarterback, not losing contain while the quarterback try to get out on him or get underneath him. That's our blitz. It's all the same skills. Pass, they do man coverage, so they play man coverage all the time. Man, their run fit's outside run fit, you know, pursuit, defeat a block. It's all the same stuff. Just a different. I mean, the only thing that's different is their pass coverage, the angle that they're blitzing from, and the angle that they're playing in and out from. They're playing out, further out, and way out. Keel asks, what do our defensive linemen do while our linebackers and DBs are in 7-on-7? Beat the crap out of each other. I don't know. Our head coach runs the defensive line, and they always look like they just came out of a war. We have slightly different mentalities as far as that goes, but our head coach runs them. So I think they just on the schedule it says pass rush moves and pass rush one-on-ones since the offensive linemen are down there with them. But they do all kinds of like toughness drills and I don't know. It's not toughness. It's fun. They do competition drills a lot. Do our OLBs bend in a run blitz? They're blitzing to the back elbow of the quarterback. They're still contained, so they're not coming underneath. They're still contained. Only difference, our OLBs in a run blitz are under control, and in a pass blitz they are balls to the walls, back elbow of the quarterback. They also know when the quarterback doesn't see him because we'll blitz off backside edge. That's when they can go all out. Steve asks, how do you feel about a blitz review period along with interior? For shorting Indy doing blitz review. And our blitzes are so simple, we just don't need a blitz review. So, yeah, you could do it. When we had more complicated blitzes, we did that. I've simplified. I've gone from an 85-page playbook to 7. So, if I was a 3-5-3, our blitzes are very simple. What we've done is we put in a 10-minute pre-practice where we'll go through all that stuff. Brian asks, do you see any wishbone triple option? This will be the last question because it is fairly late. Do you see any wishbone triple option teams, and if so, how do you deal with outside linebackers being loaded by the halfbacks on the outside triple? Outside linebackers are that's kind of what we just talked about. Outside linebackers are your force player. I line my outside linebackers wide. We see a little wishbone. We see one wishbone team. And I think we're going to put in a little wishbone this year, but it won't be triple option. We saw one wishbone triple team this year. We played cover 3. It was the only game we played a lot of cover 3 in. And we just take it on with inside shoulder, keep our shoulders square. Don't go deep in the backfield. Keep them in the line of scrimmage. Finish to each drill, tackle on air. What about a finish to each drill like a tackle on air? Yeah, a 5-yard sprint or a tackle on air. That's what I'm saying. When we come through and whiz, we just bring the hips and come through. We'll fit a tackle or we'll whiz through and bring our hips and shoot our hands. I guess you call it tackle on air. You said you use a staggered stance and taking a quick step. Is it usually angled or lateral? It's straight ahead. Heel replaces the toe. The staggered stance, read step, is just heel replaces toe. All I want to do is make sure that the first place they go is forward. Cliff asks, how often do you watch film, and do you watch it by position, whole team, offense, defense? Our whole team plays offense and defense. We watch it by linemen and skill positions for offense. We watch it by usually defensive linemen and linebackers, and then DBs. What are those other guys? Safeties. DB safeties watch it together. But we're a 4-2-5, so that means 5 positions and 6 positions for us. So it'd be DBs and outside linebackers, or whoever's defending the perimeter, and whoever. Basically, for us, it's, if you guys know the umbrella principle I talked about, whoever's under the umbrella watches film together. Whoever's outside of the umbrella watches film together. I will rarely watch it as a position. Like, I'll have linebacker more with the offensive line because I'll pick them apart. But I'll have the linebackers. I almost never have the safeties, which are our outside linebackers. I almost never have them come up and watch film. but I'll have the linebackers watch film of practice. And to be honest, when I do that, I usually only grab the starters and the backups, the first and second team. I want to work with. If I'm going to do individual film work, now if I've only got 6 kids in the position group, I'll bring them all. But if I got 12, I'm just going to bring those 4. I'm not going to kick anybody else out, but I'll grab like the senior and say, hey, will you get these 3 guys and bring them upstairs with you after you guys get dressed, get your stinky, nasty pads off. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I know this was long, but I hope you guys got a lot out of it. If you're a member, I'll get it posted up on the website pretty soon, probably next week. I hope if you're not a member that you'll try it out, become an insider. Platinum membership will get you access to the Defending the Option e-course. I will tell you that 14-day free trial, you only have access to the first module. Once you have paid, you'll have access to the whole thing. If you just know you want it all, you can skip the free trial. Just send me an email if you do it. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have questions, email them to me. I'll either get them on the podcast, get back to you when I can. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Keel, yes, to answer your question, if there's no immediate number 2, our outside linebackers are responsible for the number 2 out of the backfield. Linebackers are responsible for number 3. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.